In the 1995-96 anime series Neon Genesis Evangelion, creator Hideaki Anno weaves together the philosophies of Schopenhauer and Kierkegaard by looking at the hedgehog. So Schopenhauer once wrote about how we are hedgehogs, and as hedgehogs we try to find other hedgehogs for comfort and warmth. But as you imagine, as hedgehogs, the closer we get to each other, the more likely we are to inflict pain on each other as we wind up poking each other with our spikes. So Hideaki Anno uses the hedgehog's dilemma to explain the social dynamics of the various characters on Neon Genesis Evangelion. All the characters are part of the same organization trying to defend humanity, but the real threat or the real harm is how the various characters try to bond with each other, how to form relationships with each other, and wind up hurting each other. Not only do we do this to others, but we also do this to the self. Philosopher Soren Kierkegaard, in his book Sickness Unto Death, wrote about how there is a synthesis of the finite and infinite in all of us. And the self is how we relate to this finite and infinite. And when we reject the synthesis, we find ourselves in despair. So Shinji is a prime example of someone who's wrestling with the hedgehog dilemma, and in doing so, he rejects the infinite in him. He is only finite. He doesn't deserve the love of others, and in doing so, he finds himself in Kierkegaardian despair. On the other side, you have someone like Asuka, who is, again, wrestling with the hedgehog dilemma, but her response is to reject that synthesis and only be the infinite. So she doesn't need the love of others. She is just on herself, and that's good enough. So Neon Genesis Evangelion essentially argues that the way to move beyond the hedgehog dilemma is to accept that Kierkegaardian synthesis. Not only will we be able to accept the self as the self truly is, but also the self in others as they are truly the synthesis of the infinite and finite. In doing so, this doesn't create a pain-free existence, but it does allow for new ways of recognition and new bonds that move beyond the simple hedgehog